Thank you very much.
Yeah, go on then,
Thank you. Thank you.
We can shake your hand there. Not a boss anymore.
Sorry, Bill.
Well, thanks everybody. We rushed Lewis out because I know we're on a bit of a time delay here. Unbelievable night at Windsor Park. I mean, just the whole night full of drama. A very closely fought contest on the main event, and Belfast has a new world champion in Lewis Crocker, 147 pound IBF world champion Lewis Crocker. Over to you guys for questions for Lewis and Jamie and myself if you need it. Raise a hand, I'll give you a shout. Yes.
Congratulations, Lewis.
Thank you.
Over the moon. Obviously, the way that you came into this fight was controversial, and everything that happened in the last fight. Do you believe that everything happens for a reason? So if the fight hadn't ended the way that it happened, and then boots hadn't gone up, and then the belt hadn't come, so actually that things can really test us, but actually it can end up in something beautiful. Do you believe in that?
Without a doubt. I said, since the first thing, I remember me and Eddie were walking out when it just got announced, and he says, it's crazy how the way things work, and I says, if the stars were ever aligned for me, Eddie, it's here. And I knew this was my moment, and just I visualised everything about tonight, and hearing on the new, and then the silent pause, and you're waiting there, and it says Belfast, Northern Ireland, that was it, life's peak. It will never get any better than that moment.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lewis, first fight, I suppose, say you underperformed, question the tactics, a very, very different approach tonight. You completely kind of changed up how you kind of went with the job.
Yeah, for sure. I knew that I could box, and I was giving them too much of an easy target last time, and I knew if I would give them a false sense of security and draw them in, which it did. I clipped him with the first one that dropped him, and I knew that I could land something big, and I did in the fifth, and he was lucky that it was the end of the round. Otherwise I'd have pushed the pressure on, and could have went out and tried to put the pace on him from there, but in my mind I was just stick to what you're doing here. I knew when I was countering him, I was hurting him, and the main thing was I wasn't getting hit with anything. Everything was smart, and it just takes one punch to change everything, and I did tonight. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but tonight couldn't get any better, and nobody gave me a chance in that fight. Absolutely nobody. I was a massive underdog and got slated the whole way after the second fight, the lad. So yeah, it was a good result.
You said all week I was an underdog, and you seemed to be happy to play that role a bit. You were very quiet, didn't want to really talk too much, and all of a sudden you seemed to come alive a wee bit last night. And was that part of the plan, or what was the kind of mindset?
Yeah, listen, the deal you're talking, but doesn't matter, does it? Do you know what I mean? I knew just the way everything was planning out. Just be calm. I loved it. I say it from the get-go, the underdog role, and I embraced that, so I did. And I was way more relaxed. You could see once I heard him, I could see, he was talking a bit prior to the thing, but once he knew when he got dropped, and maybe I've talked all this shit about him and everything, and I'm on the back foot and whatnot. So it was incredible, and to have the Belfast fans there, to hear on the news, in the Belfast, have my family there, friends. It was it was a life-changing moment.
Lewis, you're right that nobody fancied you to win this. Probably most people in this room, the bookmakers, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I wasn't sure if you truly believed that you could do it just based on how the first fight had gone. Why were you sure that you could do it? What made you think you could actually turn this around? I
knew I was a much better fighter than what I showed, and I knew that he was going to think that I'm going to be the same fighter as last time round. And I knew from the get-go there, instantly, once he missed that first shot, I was I've got my distance here. I'm not giving him an easy target, and yeah, it was made a big deal. Everything, the build up to this fight is I look confident and whatever, and I played the role perfectly. And the last time that he seen me before I fought, I made sure that I let him know I'm not nervous at all here. So I slept like a baby last night, woke up feeling good today. And I'll sleep even better tonight.
I don't know about that.
I know.
This was a split decision, but how close did you feel it was in your head? Are you pretty confident that I'm going to have my hand raised here?
I knew with the two knockdowns, and I thought I'd guarantee 3 rounds anyway. So in my head, I thought it would, but you don't know in fights. You know what I mean? Like you don't know. So to hear the split decision, just to hear the result and the declare the winner, it was class to hear. But you know, Paddy's a great fighter. Like I seen like articles like the build up to this fight, like saying he's arguably or could be like the greatest Irish boxer of all time and stuff. And that's how much people were building this guy up. And nobody was giving me a chance. So it was good to go and prove people wrong.
The emotion that came out at the end, you dropped to your knees on the floor and kissed the belt, and I think you maybe shed a tear in there as well. I mean, we could see how much it meant to you.
Like it's you get into this like game to have them nights like that. Like who could have like ever pictured that? Do you know what I mean? Like just the way everything planned out, and like to have like my family there and special.
I think it was almost 9 years ago when you turned pro, and it's been a long enough journey, and there was definitely a time with injuries and stuff, and you were bouncing around a couple of trainers. Did you ever think at that time, when it was a bit darker, that you would be here as world champion?
Yeah, listen, I always say is like the only thing that got me through is like never give up on the dream. Do you know what I mean? Like I always pictured like it would just take one opportunity to change your life, and I just knew like everything was meant to be. Like I always big believer. Me and Jamie said it like. Everything is meant to be, and I just knew that I needed one opportunity, and like Eddie and Matchroom gave me that opportunity, and got me in great fights, and this showed me the support, and got Belfast behind me, and did everything for me, and I'm world champion of the world. Like.
Lewis, can you talk through that fifth round, the knockdown, the second knockdown, the big one? Did you think Paddy was going to get up? Did you think the fight was over? How does it compare to all the punches you've thrown in your career so far?
Once I hit him, I was waiting for the clicker or something, you know, like so I could to see how much time's left. And then once I got up and he was stumbling, but I know Paddy has a great chin because I remember catching him in the first fight and he was still there and stuff. But tonight I felt it was a lot sharper. And you know, Paddy's a great counter puncher, so I was maybe should have let the hands go more, but it's something I look back on, and I know I'm a much better fighter as well than what I even showed tonight. I'm only getting started, like, you know. I'm 22 fights now, like, but I've so much more improvement, and I showed you like the difference between that fight and this fight tonight. Like I'm only going to get better.
You didn't think the fight was over in the fifth as you knocked him down?
I was hoping it was, 100%. As soon as he went down, I was like, "Do we get up?" But yeah, like once he got dropped, I seen he was stumbling. Yeah, great shot. I knew the first knockdown, I knew I clipped him, so I did. And then the second, I just seen a clip of it. It was a lovely shot.
Lewis, congratulations. You mentioned Conor Ben as a potential opponent next. I mean, he's a massive name, it's a massive fight. I mean, how does it feel you could do back-to-back nights here as well as a defence? I mean, it's a massive fight for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Like I seen there was articles like saying about Ben getting the winner of me and Paddy, but I seen 99% of them posts were talking about Paddy and Ben. You know, like nobody was expecting me to get to say about Ben. So I just think like domestically, it's a huge fight with great styles, and it's like one of them that where it's going to be entertaining from the get go. You know, Ben's a quality fighter, and I always say, like, people always mention his name. I was like, there's no point in me even like saying anything because like I have no bargaining chip. Do you know what I mean? Like why would he fight me? Like he's not from the game and such. Do you know what I mean? So, but now I'm world champion, so I hold him more goals now.
Eddie as well. I mean, is Conor a realistic opponent? What are the other options that Lewis has? Obviously, he's got the strap now as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, the IBF who do a great job, you know, and they are quite forceful with their mandatories. So you get your voluntary, and then unless you have a unification, it's quite likely that you have to face a mandatory, and you want to make that first defence count, you know. So we'll speak to Jamie and the team, but you know, this is the opportunity to secure your future financially forever. I mean, tonight was a nice payday. Last one was a decent payday, and then the plan now is to make sure that you can buy your house and you can have a great life. And if you win, it's just a game of snakes and ladders boxing, you know. But not just Conor Ben, but Devin Haney, unification if he beats Brian Norman. Rolly Romero, unification. Teofimo Lopez. I mean, these are the names that, you know, and they've never had a fight like that in Belfast. You know, those kind of names come into Belfast. But obviously, with Lewis and Conor being part of the Matchroom team, it's an easy fight to make. it does it. I mean, we had one more stand to do tonight. You'd certainly do that and some for a Conor Benn fight. And if we did it at the O2, he'd fill up the O2 half with some of you lot anyway. Do you know what I mean? So we got to plan accordingly, but we got to make it count now.
Question for you, just there has been a bit of controversy online with the result as a neutral, someone who represents both. Just wonder how you had the fight scored.
Do you know what? Really difficult to score. Like, I gave Lewis Crocker the second round, I think the 6th round, and the 12th round, and the 2 10-8 rounds. So that's 2 10-8s plus 3 rounds, which is 114, 113 to Lewis Crocker. But the 12th round could have gone either way. The second round was a very tight round. Do you know what I mean? And there was other rounds that were tight rounds. I was shocked that a lot of the score zone, we had a couple of fighters that had Donovan up by a few after 9 or 10. And I'm thinking, I can't see how that's actually physically possible. Donovan did win a lot of rounds. But after the 2 knockdowns, it's a really tough fight to win from there. And, I said in an interview, I think Lewis would agree, if he lost by a point, he certainly wouldn't be saying this is a joke. He would say, thought I nicked it, but I understand. It can go either way. So a point either way. But I can see the 114, 113 card as well. And maybe I can see Paddy Donovan by a point. I mean, it's just a lot of those rounds. Not a lot happened. If you like the more eye-catching shots, they come from Lewis Crocker, But like he said, he didn't really get hit clean with a lot of big shots tonight. Paddy boxed really well. He's a great fighter. But, to be honest, when I got in the ring, I had absolutely no idea.
Have you had a chance to speak to Paddy?
Not yet, no. Not yet. They left the ring without doing an interview.
Lewis, could you give him the third fight?
Sorry?
Just over a second one, mate. I guess a break, will he?
That's what they've been calling for.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, obviously, like I said previously, if Paddy wins tonight, he's looking for the big fights and the most lucrative opportunities. And the rematch is a big fight of the trilogy, but it's not as big as some of the other opportunities out there, being honest. So, I think Paddy will get his shot again, and we will make sure we give him big fights, and he's a quality fighter.
Lewis, you have to be very patient a lot of the time in the ring, wait for the counter opportunities. How hard is it to box to that game plan?
It was much easier. I always knew I can box and stuff, and I think it put him out of his rhythm, and it showed that. Do you know what? I could hurt him because I think he just looked at me as like I'm just gonna go in and take guard, and he's just gonna punch me to the face every time. So it was good to land flush and put him on the canvas twice.
Was there anything that surprised you that Paddy brought tonight, or do you feel like he had improved from the first fight at all?
No, I expected everything to go the way it did tonight. I just gave him a too much easy target last time, so I did. And I just knew when I was warming up tonight, like, I think a whole team seen me warming up, it was just a different version of myself. So it was, and got the job done.
Yes, not only did you get slated a lot the last time, but also Billy. Obviously it's a big one for both of you, but I think Billy's going to rule Twitter tomorrow. but obviously it probably may have been easy. I think a lot of people were saying that you were the wrong coach. I think you probably proved a lot of people online that love to sort of hate and love to sort of break things up. I think it's massive for you and Billy, and probably puts him back on a pedestal where people can say Billy is a world-class coach.
That's it, like people kept saying, like after the last time, people checking on me, it's like, are you alright? You alright stuff? I was like, I'm grand. I was like, I knew I was going to get the rematch anyway, with the things regardless, and I knew it was a much better fair than what I showed the first time. So people don't always have opinions about anything, but I think I'll go to bed happy tonight anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, world champion now, and as I said, I've changed my life forever. Like, no matter what happens in my life, I'll always go down as a world champion. Do you know what I mean? And that's something that nobody could ever take away from me.
Them days, Lewis, obviously very, very early on, running around here, sort of dreaming of Windsor Park. You've now fought here twice. I think you ended up being co-main event in Frampton that night, because I think you were sandwiched between Fury and Frampton. You've now headlined, you're now a world champion. Them dreams are obviously inspiration for the next crop of youngsters coming through.
Absolutely. Like, I know, I says, like in the first press conference, that there's going to be kids watching from the crowd tonight. It'll be like, I remember the day Lewis Crocker, and that'll inspire them, like, and that's a pretty cool moment. And I can't wait to be about 80 years of age and just sit with my grandkids. We see your granda, we see your granda, and replay that every time.
Yes. Hold on. Yeah.
Tonight was a really big night in Ireland, and there have been fewer fights over Renal in the north and the south. Do you think that this has sort of shown that maybe Matchroom will pull some more fights over to this side? And
We always hope that we can come here, but you need the fight to come here. You know, I mean, we did it previously with Lewis, you know, and we've done it at Ulster Hall as well. We've done many shows in Belfast over the years, but that was by far the biggest show we've ever done, one of the biggest shows ever in Belfast. So, and now he's the world champion. So, you know, we always, and you know, Keevan won as well, Ajako. You know, he kept going on, and he showed a lot of heart tonight. So, some great fighters. I mean, Tyrone McKenna, I thought, was retiring for the 48th time tonight. And then I said, well done, mate, great career. He's like, what are you talking about? Well, you've got to get me another fight. I'm like, you know, he's just... And a lot of good young fighters as well. You know, like, I thought, by the way, the All-Irish fight with Farrell and Borland was just unbelievable to watch. Sometimes those fights are just, you know, it was just brilliant to watch. A couple more, guys, because I promised we'd do that.
You've now got at the set, obviously your dad, obviously Damon Loughlin as a welterweight Irish world champion.
Yeah.
You've now got one as well, so you can now say to your dad.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, thank you. I'll do that tomorrow over Sunday lunch. Yeah, and that was at a time where the WBO was just emerging, really, and Eamon was a great fighter. But this is a really, really big win, you know. This is an established belt in a red-hot division at the moment, and you know, I think it's going to get really exciting from here. You know,
I always said the atmospheres are special in Belfast, and this is your first time now doing Windsor Park. Where does it rate for you in terms of all the stadium fights at Match?
Oh, right up there. I mean, atmosphere-wise, I mean, look, I've done, I don't know, 20 stadium fights, and that was one of the smaller stadium fight crowds, because sometimes you're in Millennium Stadium, Dallas Cowboys, Wembley. You know, I mean, quite a lot, to be honest with you, but that is special. I mean, like, and another thing I'd like to say, and sometimes a little bit controversial, I didn't see any trouble tonight, really, you know, and that was always a concern. And you know, we spent a huge amount of money on security and policing, because it's very important that people feel safe and comfortable to come to these nights. We also understand there's a lot of, you know, sort of blood pumping around the body. You're at a night of the fights and there's beers going everywhere. But I was really pleased with just the feeling there tonight. You know, sometimes you go to an event and it just feels a little bit, you know, I saw a lot of kids there tonight. I saw a lot of women. You know, I'm sure there was a hardcore support as well, but I saw a lot of families there. And I think it's nice that we can sort of leave here. And I'm sure it was lively in certain parts of stadiums, but sometimes you see pockets of incidents and troubles, and we didn't have any reports of that tonight, and that was really nice to see.
Eddie, one last question for Lewis. Eddie mentioned earlier that Paddy sort of left the ring quickly in Monday in the interviews. Was there anything said between the pair of you after the fact?
No, we shook hands, so we did. You know, there's obviously a mutual respect there. As I say, like Paddy is a world-class fighter, and like we've shared 20 rounds now together, and in a year, or like in so many months. So you know, I've big respect for Paddy. No doubt that he'll be back on the world stage. And yeah, you know, and I've shared two. Like, it was the first All-Irish world title fight tonight, so that'll go down as history. So that'll
You and your sister both history makers.
I know, but I won, mate.
Just Lewis, how do you celebrate this?
Just with my family, my friends. I think it's going to take a while to sink in as well, but amazing.
Last one.
Are you going to walk home with the belt tonight?
Yeah.
You live really close to here.
That's a good shout, you know. That's a good. I can do what the fuck I want now.
It's great content. It's great content.
It's great content. We'll see what happens.
Thanks.